Catherine.
Cool, let's do
Welcome,
that.
welcome.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Katherine George. I'm the founder of Oso Social. We're international multi-award winning social media marketing experts. Try saying that after you've had a few or at 5:30. So today I'm going to talk to you about my world of virtual working in no office, no problem. So let's start with the awkward introduction. So my name is Katherine George. I'm the founder of Oso Social. We're a social media marketing agency. I also own a company called Oso Savvy, which is all online training. I'm one of Facebook and Instagram She Means Business mentors. So for those of you who don't know, it's this really awesome program where we go around teaching women in business and upskilling them on Facebook and Instagram. I'm a Facebook Blueprint lead trainer, and I'm also one of Enterprise Nation's top 50 business advisors. So hopefully I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So today I want to take you all on a journey with me. So we've got to start by rewinding back a few years. So I started freelancing about 6 years ago when I was 24. And I was like, I'm going to ride my horse every day and I'm going to travel the world and I'm going to work 20 hours a week. And yeah, that didn't happen. So I've been really lucky, and Oso Social has grown. I went into social media at the right time. And I ended up with quite a big company, kind of really quickly and completely by accident. And ended up with an office and a team. And I realized one day it made me really unhappy. I still feel really lucky and really blessed, but what was making me sad was being in an office. I suddenly felt really tied. I felt like I had to be the first one in and the last one to leave. And I started to back analyze that and go, well, actually, why do I feel like that? And why should that be? And why is it making me unhappy? And if I strip that element away, will I be much happier? So I started to analyze things, and I decided that I was going to say goodbye to my office. And what I was going to do was put lots of things in place so I could work places like this and here and here. But not just me. I was going to put everything in place so my entire team can as well. And then resulting in me not feeling guilty when I wasn't here. Everyone kind of had the flexibility, and it opened us up as well to kind of doing lots of new cool stuff. So how do you do that? And actually by this point as well, so when we did this, we had a team of 6, we had an office space, we had training space, we had a lot of paper. For those of you who know, when you grow a business, you end up with a lot of paper and you don't quite know why. And we had all these things and all these procedures, and it was like, right, if I'm now going to say everyone can work virtually from anywhere in the world, was my exact statement. I walked into my team and went, in 3 months' time, we'll all be able to work virtually anywhere in the world. So I set myself a time frame. I was like, shit, how are we going to do this? So the first thing I had to do was look at the operations side of it. And this really involved kind of splitting down everything we did, everything we had, and what we actually needed. So we had to start looking into the clouds and seeing what we physically needed, what we needed on paper, what we needed in documents, what we needed in the office, or what the cloud could do for us. And instantly we moved a lot of our stuff onto cloud software. So all of our accounts went onto Xero across all companies. The bookkeeper, the accountant were all told to only expect virtual copies of stuff. And all of the HR went into this phenomenal system called Charlie HR. So we started to kind of strip out stuff straight away. Of course, when you're on social media, all of your content can be written straight into cloud software. So that was quite a nice, easy first step for us. Then we had to start to look at more physical things like the phone. So I used to work in the wedding industry when I was much younger. And my boss said to me, anytime you don't answer the phone, we lose a client. And that's really resonated with me. And actually, I found that to be really true. So we had to figure out what we were going to do with the phone and the phone number. Because again, we found if we just give mobile numbers, we don't get as many inquiries. So we turned to Google, best place for all of your stuff. And we started searching for all of these people and all these clients. And in the end, we picked a company called answer.co.uk, who now answer all of our phones for us as our online receptionists. They know everything about us. They know what members of the team we've got. They know who's on maternity. They know what job roles everyone's got. And they have a rough idea of what we do. So they offer a really good data capture service. They have a little chat with the clients or potential clients. And 9 times out of 10, we actually get really nice feedback about how great our receptionists are. So that's always really good to hear. Also, since we've invested in this, we haven't lost any potential clients. We've also not had any clients complain about not answering the phone or delayed in responses. So this is really worth investing in, and we have it all the time. So the second anyone leaves the office, we hit do not disturb, or at the moment during the COVID crisis, they're all being directly answered anyway. So then we looked at email, and actually we put in a blanket rule of for no one to download emails onto devices anymore. We all have cloud-based email software, so I was like, we have to keep it in the cloud to prevent any emails getting lost. And I thought this would be a really nice, simple thing to implement, but apparently people really like downloading emails. So a bit of a culture change for us there, but actually, again, everyone's email software is geared up to work this way. So it's a nice, simple change. And just by telling everyone to use the web version, suddenly frees up that, oh my God, I need my computer. So documents were a big one. So lots of people like to take notes. They like to have big folders. And until we put this change in, every client had a folder where all their notes would go, all their internal notes would go, records of everything went. And all of a sudden we were like, we need a virtual storage system. So originally we started with a NAS drive and a VPN remote server. And we found that actually being in Cornwall, we have a lot of tech and internet issues in Cornwall, and it just wasn't working for us. So we've got one girl who lives on the Lizard, which is the most southerly point, AKA the arse end of nowhere. And she was like, we haven't got the internet connection to remote in. So that turned into a really big nightmare for us one day when I was in Marrakesh. I couldn't remote in. So we ended up biting the bullet and paying more to get SharePoint. Actually, it saved our lives. And what we can mean now is we can now have one running document for most clients if we're all working on a project together that we can all edit and all work on at the same time. It's life-saving. So intercompany chat is a big thing. We are a social media agency. We're mainly all women as well, and we like a bit of a gossip. So we onboarded onto Slack, which for those of you who don't know, it's like MSN Messenger but for business. And Slack is phenomenal. So we're only on the free version. I will not spend a penny unless I have to. And it works brilliantly for us. It allows us to check in with everyone in the mornings. It allows us to ask those questions. It prevents clutter on the emails. And it means as well that we can keep that really friendly vibe going. Then we stopped having meetings. So this was a really big thing. And actually it's quite a big thing when someone onboards onto our team where we try to avoid having physical meetings, because for lots of people that's really bizarre. We made a stand and went, if anything can be a phone call or a Zoom meeting, we will do it. And that was a really, really big thing. But actually it worked really well as we started to onboard on clients and encourage them more and more to do video calling. And this was pre-COVID. I mean, we put this in about 3 years ago. So originally we worked with every platform going, and we still do now. So we work with FaceTime, WhatsApp audio, video, Facebook Messenger video, Zoom, Google Hangouts, Google Meetings, Teams, you name it, we will work on it to make the client's life easier. And actually that was a big way that all of a sudden we were like, yeah, we don't need meetings, which is great. And then the last big step was going completely paper-free. Now this was a real hard one because so many people like taking notes. And getting everyone into the mindset of, okay, if you want to take notes, that's fine, but you have to type them into the software afterwards. So big mindset change. And again, going paper-free took quite a long time. It was probably about a 6-month process. We had to go back through all the old records, we took photos, we uploaded them. And this is where we invested in really good CRM and project management software. And that's probably like a big bill for us, but I do really think it's worth it. And then it's just a case of hammering home to people going, notes in software, notes in software. But now, especially if you read the COVID office policies where we are no longer allowed to share pen or paper, they even don't want us to have paper. Yeah, read the policies. It's already saved us a huge step. So it's just getting everyone's mindset into it. So what about the clients? What did they think? So actually, being completely honest, we didn't really tell them. We didn't like put out a big email newsletter and go, guys, we're now all working virtually. In fact, we just carried on business as usual. If they rang the office, we'd go, I'm sorry, they're working from home today, or they're working from here today. I like to travel. So we've had phone calls where someone has gone, where's Katherine? They go, actually, she's working in America this week. So she's online these times. So we didn't hide it, but we didn't necessarily run press about it. When they asked, we just spoke to them. We told them, we were like, so this is what we're doing. This is how it's working now. And actually 95% of them were amazing about it. So one person got a bit quibbly, and actually then when they wanted an emergency call at 9 o'clock one night and they realized a member of the team had flexed that day, they suddenly loved it and understood kind of why we were doing it. So once you go through all the operational side of things, it's just a case of making it happen. Like saying goodbye to your office isn't that scary at all. So there's a few things you have to be aware of, and there is a lot of planning that goes into complete virtual working, especially if you already have quite a big team. It's just getting those comms right, understanding where everyone is, understanding where everyone's working. And that's a big thing that we did at the same time as this, is we operated a fully flexible working day. So we expect everyone to be flexible, and actually, especially when you do have a remote team, you have to admit that sometimes people have internet issues, they have power cuts, they have places they need to be. So we allow full flexibility along the team. As long as you do your 7.5-hour day, we don't care when and where you do it. There has to be a large amount of teamwork. And this is something we hammer home to everyone, is for this to work and for this to be a big quirk and perk for working for us, we have to work together. We have to support each other. So we make everyone put Slack on their phones. So if anyone needs something urgently of an evening or a weekend, we expect everyone to kind of jump in and help look after each other. There are some late nights involved. I'm not going to lie to you, especially if you want to work on the other side of the world. Sometimes you have to do those late nights and early mornings. I've done Australia since implementing this as well. And it was very much, I was working a few hours in the evening, a few hours in the morning while I was out there. But again, the benefits are so big. And there has to be a lot of trust. If you don't trust your team, and if they don't trust you, and if your clients don't trust you, this won't work. So you have to know that everyone's going to be there to support each other. And what are the benefits? Actually, the benefits to this have been huge. So as I've already mentioned, I'm a bit of a closet digital nomad. So for me, all of a sudden, I've been able to travel as and when I want to. So that has been a huge thing. And actually, it suddenly gets rid of that big trapped cage feeling I had that was making me quite sad. It's been massively beneficial to the environment. So we don't have paper. We no longer have 7 or 8 people commuting to an office. We no longer drive to meetings. So that massively benefits our environment. It also means that we've all got a better work-life balance. So as I've said, we're in Cornwall. So a meeting half an hour away in the winter takes half an hour to get there. In the summer, you're looking at a 3.5-hour drive. So all of a sudden, we've saved so much time in the day that we would usually lose. Plus, now if it's nice weather, the team suddenly don't feel obligated or feel bad to be sat at their desks. Those who've got kids can take 3 or 4 hours out to go to the beach, because really that's much more important in life, and then work in the evening. So everyone has now got a much stronger, much better work-life balance. We've seen a mass increase in creativity and productivity. So by allowing people to work when they are creative, we get better work out of them produced quicker. So I am really good in the morning. I'm then great between about 6 and 9 in the evening. After lunch, I'm about as useful as a chocolate teapot. And I know this. And so that's the kind of working day I work now. And it's exactly the same for the team. If you are great at certain hours of the day, that's when you work. We time it all, so there's always someone online between 8 and 6. So clients can always be answered, things can always be responded to, but especially for our creatives, this has really helped them. And everyone is much happier. I'm much happier, the team are much happier, and the clients seem much happier as well. So thank you very much. Hopefully that's been my nice whistle-stop tour of virtual working and how I made it happen. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask or follow me up on any of the social channels here.
And that was so interesting how you've done that. We did have one question. What was the name of the answer service? What is it?
We use answer.co.uk.
And is that just as it would be?
Yeah.
It's not spelt in any other way?
No. A really great team. There's loads out there. They were the first ones we used. We got recommended them. So it equates to the more credits you buy, the cheaper it is.
Right.
but yeah, it's been so beneficial for us, and they cover evenings, weekends, holidays, bank holidays, the lot. They're really great.
No, I like that because I know there are lots out there, but I think it's really good to get a recommendation from someone that's used them and used them consistently for, you know, a number of years. So that's really good.
Yeah.
And I
I
love the bit
think,
about, we were talking earlier about creativity, and Jill was saying that she's more creative was it you telling you're more creative?
yeah, far more creative. Yeah, when I'm, well, it's not so much the time for me, it's when I'm stood up.
Oh, that
My
was
brain seems to work better if I'm stood up and walking around rather than just sitting down. But Catherine, I found that really, really interesting because, you know, Caroline and I have had all sorts of conversations because, of course, you know, Flex is going to be this enormous company very, very soon. But it's like, you know, when we've both been self-employed for a long time, and when you've been self-employed for a long time, the thought of course we want to be successful, but at the same time, the thought of being that person that feels like they've got to be first in the office and last to leave and all that kind of stuff, it's just a backward step. It just seems bonkers, really. So it's just inspiring to know that actually you can have a decent sized organization and still have that flexibility that we get used to when we're self-employed.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. That's the big thing. And actually we say that even when we hire staff. So like we've got one girl at the moment who has now started working from home with the COVID situation and has just gone, I hate it. I don't cope well with it. And it's like, well, that's fine. We keep an office. We can't fit all of the staff in it. But we keep an office for two reasons. One is I like being able to go to work. Not for long. I like to do like 4 hours in the office and then leave. And two, we've got a private launch way, so I paddleboard from here.
Very important.
We kept our office, yeah. But and that that's fine. And as well, we find when we hire people, sometimes when they first come on, they try to take the piss with it, and we just go, no, this is a privilege. This is what we do. And others are great, and they understand it, and they see it as a privilege, and they get it really quickly.
Yeah.
Like that when you hire anyway, you know, there's no guarantee that they're going to fit. There's no guarantee they're actually going to be good at the job. But we've now got, including freelancers and employees, there's a team of 10 here. So, and it works really well.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So I was going to ask you that because you'd mentioned the office. So you do keep an office space, as you said, but no one, you could never all be there at one time anyway, even if you, yeah. Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, no, so even before the 2-meter COVID, we couldn't all work here. I mean, we could all fit in, but there are 6 desks. So, and now of course we can only really use 2 at a time, or 3 depending if
right, yeah.
So Naomi has been she was the first ever fully remote hire. So she came on our out of hours social media cover, and actually is an amazing marketing manager. So she's now our marketing manager as well. And we normally see her like once a month, once every 6 weeks, if that. So she's currently on maternity leave, but she's always worked fully remotely. She's never worked in the office, and she only comes in to like check in or for team building days. So yeah. And for a while we had someone working in Reading. I actually got stuck in Australia when I went. So I was meant to be there for like a 2-week holiday. 2 months later, I got home. But yeah, it was all just fine, all covered. So yeah, it works. It takes a while. And like today I sent an email going, guys, remember to time track, remember to do this, remember to do that. But as long as you're happy to send those like reminders every now and again, it's all good.
Yeah, no, I really like that. I mean, we've obviously, you know, we're a much smaller company, but we've got a couple of sort of young interns that work for us. They interns, they're more like, they're actually A-level students, and their Saturday job, if you like, instead of working at McDonald's or Costa Coffee, they work for us, and they work flexibly around their term time change. They seem to have every term their timetable seems to change, so we just change their hours every term. What they do, and obviously because we're working remotely, we run a Trello board for each of their work. We have Zoom to kick off every like work session, even if it's only 5 minutes, just to check in with them. They log their hours themselves. You know, we use WhatsApp and we use Trello. So, you know, in the last 6 weeks, we've embraced that fully as well. And we're trying to find our way through it. And we certainly haven't got as many systems in place that you have, but having sort of 2 junior members of staff who are just sort of starting out, but are of a totally different generation as well, and it comes totally naturally to them. It's been really interesting. So yeah, it's I think it's systems, as you said, systems and processes is the key to it, I think.
Yeah, so we've actually just onboarded onto Monday, which I'm not going to lie isn't cheap. So I think we're paying £1,000 for the year.
Right.
But it's incorporated all of our Trello, all of our time tracking, all of our finance. So we've got rid of like 4 other pieces of software. So I felt like it was worth the investment. And as well, it's got a really nice dashboard feature. So I can just glance at it and see what hours everyone's logged, what our retainer price is coming in at this month. There's a llama farm that gives me nothing interesting, but it's pretty to look at. So I really like it. But yeah, and that's what we did. We were just like, so I've always said like the whole way along, I just thought I'd freelance, and my team grew really, really quickly. My whole business is growing very fast. So I'm just learning all the time. I'm like, oh, I need this now and I need that now.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was the same with this. I was like, we're going to work virtually and I'm pissing off was basically the sentence of it. I was like, we're going to do this now and I'm going to prove we can do it by pissing off to a foreign country.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I've told Jill a couple of times, I've had this recurring, I've had it twice. I've had this dream that I sold my house and I bought a camper van, and that basically I'm traveling around just working wherever. And the first time I had it, I was like, I need to think about that, whether that's sort of a thing that I want to do. And then I had the same dream about 2 weeks ago. So it's like, okay, this is now becoming a little bit of a thing on my mind, and it's like I've got to get the camper van and just start doing the traveling around.
Yeah, and
but, you know, I as a business partner fully support that, you know, and I think that's the only way forward, is that we all manage to live our lives alongside work. You know, we can't have it dominating, can we? We can't have it so that you can't do these things because of work. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about age range?
Yeah.
Just wondering sort of what the ages are of the people that are working in your teams.
So the youngest at the moment is 19, I think. And the eldest, now it was his birthday this weekend, and he's going to tell me off if I get this wrong. Okay, so our ops manager is 36. But like the bookkeeper, I don't want to say.
Give us a range.
In a range, 40s, 50s.
Late 40s?
Okay, so you've got a good range of ages there.
I don't know if she'll ever see this. This is why I'm worried about saying. Yeah, so we've got actually quite a diverse age range. And it's quite interesting to see. So when we bring on like the young kids, they get really excited about the doing and then realize that social media isn't just pictures of themselves.
Yes.
Which is quite a big thing.
It's hard work, social media. Hard work.
Yeah. So yeah, we, at one point, all of my management team was older than me. So that was really tricky. Rain, I think, is 38. Yeah, so I'm like in the middle with the ages as well, which is an interesting place to be as an employer. Like, you're the one in charge and you're like, yes, person who's got more experience in working in an agency than I do, you do this now. So that's quite good fun.
Yeah, but you know, it's your business, and I'm sure they respect that. So
they're my team are great, actually, and I've been tried to be quite strategic with hiring people who kind of have more knowledge in this is how big agencies work and stuff like that, because I've never worked in one, but I own one. So
yeah, exactly. No, that's really good. Thank you so much, Katherine, for your time so late in the day as well, and for being so flexible with the, you know, with our tech gremlins. So appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you at some point in a Sheeman's business thingamajig.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm kind of waiting to hear what they're going to let us do with it. So
I know, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you. Time to go paddleboarding.
Yeah, enjoy your wine.
Yeah,
We
we'll
will,
do.
definitely.
Thanks, Catherine.
Thanks, Catherine.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.